تحية طيبة لكم جميعا مشاهدي ايتك عبر قناة الحرة. نحن معكم هذا الأسبوع من مدينة لاس فيغاس في الأسبوع الأول من التغطية الخاصة والحصرية بايتك لمعرض NAB 2009، المعرض المتخصص بالتقنيات الإعلامية المرئية والمسموعة. معرض NAB 2009 بلاس فيغاس ككل المعارض العالمية تأثر بالأزمة الاقتصادية العالمية سلبيا، إن كان من ناحية عدد الزوار أو عدد المشاركين من العارضين. مجموعة من اللقاءات والتقارير بانتظاركم هذا الأسبوع وعلى مدى الأسابيع المقبلة في ايتك. كالعادة نتواصل دائما عبر بريدنا الإلكتروني itek@alhurra.com. يمكن مشاهدة هذه الحلقة وحلقات أخرى من ايتك في أي وقت على موقع القناة www.alhurra.com، وأيضا على موقع youtube.com/الحرة. قبل الدخول إلى قاعات المعرض، ماذا سنشاهد معنا اليوم في اللقاء الأول من NAB 2009؟ نظام تحليل المصروف والمردود الاعلاني، تبديل في شعار افيد وميديا كومبوزر في اصدار جديد، الشاشات التفاعلية الجديدة داخل الاستوديوهات، احدث عدسات التصوير التلفزيوني، دمج الانترنت والتلفزيون من خلال منصات العمل. لحصر المصروف الإعلاني خصوصا مع الأزمة الاقتصادية الراهنة ولمعرفة المردود الذي تقدمه هذه الإعلانات، ابتكرت IBM نظام درس وتحليل للمصروف الإعلاني والعائد المادي لهذه الإعلانات على الشركات المعلنة، وذلك بالوسائل العديدة المرئية والمسموعة والمقروءة وغيرها. فقدمت برنامج IBM Cognos Now وبرنامج IBM Cognos 8.
This particular demo is attached to media companies' revenue stream. So a lot of the booth focuses on how to optimize infrastructure, how to have effective and efficient workflow. This is taking it closer to the consumer experience and the revenue. Here, this is specifically focusing on advertising. Advertising is totally elastic to the economy. As the economy goes down, advertising expenditures and revenues go down. So what we're trying to do here is arm broadcasters and media companies with all the tools and information they need to maintain their piece of the pie or grow their piece of the pie even in this environment. So effectively what we've done in this demo is go from revenue strategies, so looking across all of your channels, mobile, online, and traditional TV and other, how you can strategize for the most revenue possible for your series of brands, for your broadcast brands, for your content owner, or if a publisher for your products and publishing. We then take it from strategy through execution. So in effect, you plan for the greatest revenue that you can achieve and you consult your advertisers for how they can best achieve their marketing objective. And then you track it through different modules to see how well you're doing as a company in achieving that revenue strategy. So this is based on one of our partners' technology, market share partners. And what they have is a significant algorithm, thousands of case studies, as well as hundreds of data feeds. And it comes together through data crunching and data analysis with a revenue strategy. But that strategy is only good if you can achieve it. And so what we do here is move into implementation, and we track a media company's ability to execute effectively and garner the revenue. We have 3 modules here that we're showing in Cognos Now, which is real-time analytics. So that means you're getting immediate second-to-second reporting on how your company's doing at achieving advertising revenue. The first row, or these top 3 widgets, focus on how well you're doing at achieving your overall revenue. And in other words, how you're doing is selling all the inventory you have. The second module that we offer is a Salesforce tracking module, and that effectively shows how well your sales staff is doing at selling against their revenue targets. And the bottom set of widgets has to do with what we call campaign management. And so what we have in the blue bars here is the actual impression you've delivered, and this comes through real time, so you're going to see the dots and bars move, versus what you've guaranteed. Now this is important because, as you can see in this first example, you've over-delivered. So that means that you either need to raise your prices for this customer or you need to diminish what you're delivering to this customer and resell it to somebody else. So this product is Cognos now, along with Cognos 8. That's the IBM property. And then here we have a partner technology market share partners.
نظام ميديا كومبوزر نتريكس دي اكس عرض هنا كالعادة في NAB بلاس فيغاس من قبل شركة افيد، ولكن عرض هذه السنة الاصدار الجديد ميديا كومبوزر 3.5 بمواصفات ومميزات جديدة. يذكر هنا أن شركة افيد ظهرت بحلة جديدة هذه السنة في NAB بتعديل كبير بشكل شعارها المعروف.
The Media Composer 3.5 gives you a lot of options, especially on the file-based acquisition. You have very nice features in there, like the new color correction with the keyframes. We have what we call the AMA mode, the Avid Media Access mode, which gives you the ability to very easy ingest file-based footage from XDCAM HD, XDCAM EX, or Panasonic P2, ABC Inter, or DVC Pro HD. And then there's a new option for editing with stereoscopic footage within the Media Composer in the over-under mode. Right now, I'm here in a nice project which has some beauty shots from a catwalk. By the way, these shots are done on a webcam, so we import that files on a file-based version into the Media Composer, and I can use that files directly on my timeline. So by the end, that's my raw footage. And I switch over to my color correction mode. What's really new in 3.5 is the ability to open up the effect editor with that shot. And let's say, for example, I want to animate the saturation from coming to zero, so from coming to black and white. I want to add a keyframe on that. Going further in that shot, add another keyframe, and then push that saturation up again. And I can play back that animation in real time on my footage. Okay, maybe want to do a little bit more with that shot. So I go to my image category, take my paint effect, and put that on top of my color correction. I open up my effect editor again, and zoom in a little bit to that shot. I can select the area I'm interested in, so in that case, I want to do a shape around her eye. So I may use a circle shape. To make the edges a bit soft, I use the feathering option within my application. With the bias control, I can select whether that selection is more inside or outside that shape. The problem with that shot is, of course, that girl is moving, so my shape stays at the position and I have to do an animation on that. The Media Composer today can help me by using the tracking capabilities, and I use my tracking point and put it right on her eye. So I start my tracker, and you can see how easy the system creates a tracking path for me. So please visit our website, www.avid.com.
الشاشات الكبيرة داخل استوديوهات التلفزيون أصبحت رائجة جدا هذه الأيام كخلفية للمذيعين ومقدمي البرامج، وتعرض عليها المشاهد والصور والأفلام. الآن سنتعرف على شاشات كبيرة جديدة تستخدم لنفس الغرض ولكن تفاعلية. Interactive Studio Backdrops. هذا ما قدمته باركو.
This backdrop is based on DLP technology. DLP is the classic technology whereby images are created by shining light onto a mirror, and then the image is created like that. But albeit a successful product, we are adding another feature to it, and this is new this year, and it's a feature of interactivity. It is as if we have added a huge touchscreen to this already huge wall, which allows the talent, the speaker, who is standing in front of the wall, to interact with the content of the wall. So let me give you an example. This is a setup of, I believe, a European Song Contest information. So if I would be the speaker announcing that 1 point is given, for example, to Finland, I could speak about it, but it's far more better for the people at home to see the speaker doing what you talk about. So let me give 1 point to Finland, and I'm doing that. I can give a far more interactive user experience to the people who are watching my show, and they believe my message far more if I actually do it physically in front of the camera. Below there are infrared lights which shine an infrared light beam up. Basically, if I put my finger here, the cameras, which are also infrared cameras, detect the white spot of my finger, and by triangulation, basically an XY coordinate is being found and transferred just like a mouse command on your PC at home to the PC behind the scenes here. Okay, there is the scene, stock exchange information. So for example, if I want to tell you how the IBM stock behaved, I can touch the IBM stock and have far more detailed analysis of that information. I can touch this stock and it can make it disappear. You need 3 components. You need the wall itself. It consists of cubes. In this case, we have a 2 by 2 cube, 4 cube design. You can make it as big as you want. And these cubes, they have like a thickness, a depth of about 60 centimeters. They are perfectly aligned in colors. The second component you need is the interactive system. The third component that you need is an interactive online rendering software. In this case, it is a VisRT software, and that you need to drive the interactivity and you need to drive the content of the wall. You can reach us at www.barco.com.
وصل عدد زوار معرض NAB 2009 بلاس فيغاس هذه السنة إلى ما يقارب 84 ألف زائر، بتراجع لا يقل عن 20% عن العام الماضي، وذلك بسبب الأزمة الاقتصادية العالمية. ماذا سنشاهد بعد الفاصل في آيتك؟
أحدث عدسات التصوير التلفزيوني، دمج الانترنت والتلفزيون من خلال منصات العمل.
تشاهدون آيتك عبر الحرة والحرة.com ويوتيوب.com/الحرة. والآن تابعوا آخر أخبار آيتك من خلال آيتك شو على تويتر. تشاهدون آيتك عبر الحرة والحرة.com ويوتيوب.com/الحرة. والآن تابعوا آخر أخبار آيتك من خلال آيتك شو على تويتر.
بعد هذا الفاصل مشاهدي آيتك عبر قناة الحرة نعود لنتابع الأسبوع الأول من التغطية الخاصة والحصرية بآيتك لمعرض NAB 2009 بلاس فيغاس، المعرض المتخصص بالتقنيات الإعلامية المرئية والمسموعة. سنشاهد معا الآن
أحدث عدسات التصوير التلفزيوني، دمج الانترنت والتلفزيون من خلال منصات العمل.
كل سنة في معرض NAB بلاس فيغاس تقدم كبرى الشركات أحدث ما لديها من ابتكارات في مجال كاميرات التصوير التلفزيوني. هذا ما فعلته هذه السنة أيضا شركة كانون، حيث قدمت أحدث ابتكاراتها وهي لينز HJ14 EX 4.3B.
We have several new products, the biggest of which is the HJ14EX 4.3B. This is an EFP wide-angle lens. It is the widest angle lens in the industry, 4.3 millimeters. It's replacing what was previously the benchmark in the industry, our HJ11EX 4.7B, which was our flagship wide-angle lens for over 9 years. We've completely redesigned this lens, new optomechanics, new optical coatings, new glass. Everything about this lens has been re-optimized and re-engineered to make it the new standard in wide-angle lenses. We've ergonomically redesigned the drive unit so that it better is suited for the cameraman's hand. We've created a little bit of room here for him or her to manually change the focus and the zoom of the lens without getting their fingers jammed in the unit. It also has a closer fit for the elbow to the body so that there isn't any strain on the arm by having the elbow out. And in addition to being able to expand the angle of view from 91 to 96 degrees, we were also able to expand the zoom range from 11 to 14 times. And we used the latest in 3D CAD/CAM technology to completely redesign the inside and the outside of this lens to make it as good as you see here. We also have redesigned the hood unit on the lens to make it smaller so that the videographer can actually see more of the shot. It's a little bit smaller than some of our other lenses, so while he's got this over his shoulder, he can physically see more of what he's shooting. The list price of this is going to be about $33,000. There's information on this lens on our website. You can go to canonbroadcast.com and find all the information you need on the HJ14 lens.
منصات العمل التي من خلالها يتم تحضير وتوليف المواد الإعلامية داخل المؤسسات التلفزيونية عديدة، ومنها ما تقدمه شركة ENPS، والتي عرضت الإصدار السابع منه هنا في NAB 2009 ENPS version 7 بمواصفات جديدة وعديدة، وأهمها نشر نفس المادة الإعلامية عبر شبكة الانترنت مباشرة من نظام ENPS.
ENPS is a content production system traditionally used by broadcasters. This year we're showing how it can also be used by people producing content for the web. If we take a story we've already created, we can open that up, we can see the text of the story, we can see the media that is in the story itself. So you can see the media. We can go ahead and make a web version of that story. As we can see, the broadcast copy has been copied into the web version along with the video. And at this point, we have our story in a sequence of stories called a running order in broadcast. We can take this story and then drop it into another sequence of stories that we call a content list that drives the web. So if we go ahead and open this story that we've dropped into the content list from broadcast, we'll go ahead and we'll see that it does contain the same web version. We can then customize this for the web. We can add headlines, we can make it shorter, longer, whatever we need to do for the web. Then once we're ready to move it to the website, we can go ahead and click the approval here, and this moves the text to the content management system that serves up the web pages. It takes the video from the broadcast world, and the broadcast server runs it through an engine that converts it to web video, and then marries that up on the web page. And over here, you're able to see the story. This is the first working module in what we call version 7. So it's everything you need to do to publish to your website. ENPS has version 7 has a number of ways to display data. Okay, right now we're looking at wire information, agency copy that is geotagged coming from the Associated Press. So when the story comes in, it tells us from which region of the world it came. So in this display, we're showing which regions of the world are receiving the most AP wire copy on the feed we're receiving here in Las Vegas, which is centric to North America. And you can see here, there are 190 stories that have come in to North America. But as you click on that, you begin to see the stories broken out into various areas. So if we click on this, again, these are the number of hits we've had. We can go ahead and zoom in on these individual areas, and then click again and we can see the stories that are just specific to New York. We have another viewer that we call the spider viewer that is a semantic map. So right now we're looking at urgent wire stories that have come in. So you can see we have all these different things like legislature, environment, economic policy, maritime privacy, baseball. If we want to look at one of these and see the stories that are inside, say, government, business, and finance, here's a list of the stories. We double click on one of those, then we can open the story up and we can read it. www.enps.com.
في الأسبوع الأول من التغطية الخاصة والحصرية بآيتك لأكبر معرض عالمي متخصص بالتقنيات الإعلامية NAB 2009 بلاس فيغاس، شاهدنا معا اليوم
نظام تحليل المصروف والمردود الاعلاني، تبديل في شعار افيد وميديا كومبوزر في اصدار جديد، الشاشات التفاعلية الجديدة داخل الاستوديوهات، احدث عدسات التصوير التلفزيوني، دمج الانترنت والتلفزيون من خلال منصات العمل.
إلى هنا مشاهدي آيتك عبر قناة الحرة نأتي إلى ختام الأسبوع الأول من التغطية الخاصة والحصرية بآيتك لمعرض NAB 2009 بلاس فيغاس، المعرض المتخصص بالتقنيات الإعلامية المرئية والمسموعة. لضخامة الحدث الأسبوع المقبل مجموعة جديدة من اللقاءات والتقارير أيضا انتظاركم من هنا. إلى ذلك الحين نتواصل دائما عبر بريدنا الإلكتروني itech@alhurra.com. يمكن مشاهدة هذه الحلقة من آيتك وحلقات أخرى في أي وقت على موقع القناة www.alhurra.com وأيضا على youtube.com/الحرة. شكرا لكم جميعا وإلى اللقاء.